Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to it, my name's Liza and my channel is Little Life Guru. Today I'm going to be doing a video on the consolidation, or the transitional phase as it's called, of the Dukan diet. So I have got some notes here which I'm going to refer to, and I'm going to tell you a bit more about this phase of the diet and what to expect and my own experiences. I would really suggest, if you don't already have it, to buy the book. It goes into far more detail than I will, but this is just a general overview. So just to recap, I started the diet last year in February, and my starting weight was roughly 126 pounds or thereabouts. I didn't have scales at the time, so I was probably a bit heavier. My target weight was 110 pounds, and after the cruise phase, which is the last video I did for you, I reached 112 pounds. I think a few months after that I got married, and I was at my target weight, which was wonderful, and that was 110 pounds, so I was absolutely thrilled. So ever since my wedding I've been on the consolidation, or the transitional phase as it's called, and I just wanted to tell you a little bit about the difference between the cruise phase, which you'll be about to leave now, and this new phase. So the main difference between the cruise phase and the transitional phase, or the consolidation phase, is that on the cruise phase you spend one day having protein only, next day having protein and veg, protein only, protein and veg, and it carries on like that. And you have a list of specific foods that you can introduce to your diet, which gives you a bit more variety than the attack phase. So on the cruise phase, for every pound you want to lose, you need to be on it for 3 days. So the consolidation, or the transitional phase, is about maintaining the weight that you've lost. And it's also about reintroducing some key other food group types. So your body is still adapting to the constraints of the diet that you've been on and the limitations of the food groups that you've been allowed. And I suppose the biggest concern for this phase is a rebound, and that's what you need to be really conscious of. So putting the weight back on, or some of the weight back on, that you've worked so hard to lose. Based on how much weight you have lost, it ends up being 5 days for every pound you've lost. So in my case, for example, I lost 16 pounds by the time I got to the end of the cruise phase. So I times 16 times 5, which gives one of the big pros of being on the consolidation phase is that you get to have a whole new list of foods that you get to introduce to your diet, which is really exciting. So they go through in detail in the book what they are, but I'll just run off my own list just to give you a rough idea. So, so now you can eat all proteins and all vegetables and still have as much as you like, which is great. So you can have lean meats, but the least fatty cuts, fish and seafood, poultry except duck and goose, and it needs to always be without the skin. Low fat ham, chicken or turkey. Eggs, you know how much I love the eggs, so you can have even more if you want to. Non-fat dairy products, so one of the products that I talk a lot about in the cruise phase and in the recent video I did, which is what I eat in a day, is low fat or 0% yogurt, which is what I have with my oat bran in the morning. So that's great, and there's a lot of really good dairy fat-free options out there, so it's worth getting down to a grocery store and checking out now what else you could be having. Raw and cooked vegetables. Obviously, as a rule of thumb, and this is never going to change, and it should never change, whatever age you are or wherever you are in your life, is you should be drinking plenty of water, and they recommend 1.5 litres a day. So one of the things I missed the most on the attack and the cruise phase was fruit. I absolutely love fruit. So the great thing now is you can have 1 serving of fruit a day. Pear, an orange, an apple, and they give you a list in order of which ones are sort of likely to put on the least weight. So I think an apple's at the top of the list. For things like berries, if you're not sure about what kind of portion to have, you want to be having a small bowl. Or let's say if it's watermelon, then it's a slice, not like a gigantic one. So, you know, just use your common sense, use your brain. You're not going to be able to eat the whole melon. Okay, the only fruits that you can't have are bananas, grapes, berries, dried fruits, You can have 2 slices of a wholemeal bread a day, and you can have 2 servings of starchy foods a week. So that's things like potatoes, pasta, couscous, that kind of thing. The book goes into some detail about having a celebration meal once a week, which is great. Again, this chapter is actually, I think it's possibly thicker than any of the other ones, so you really want to have a good read through it. So this is just to give you an overview. One of the things that it does say though is that you still need to have 1 day of pure proteins, and they suggest a Thursday, but you know, you can really do it on whatever day works for you. I don't think there's any science particularly around it being a Thursday. I could be wrong. If you know why they choose a Thursday, then please leave a comment and let me know. I found that the element of the protein one day, protein and veg, another day in the cruise phase really worked for me. I felt great from it. It was really easy to follow, and I very much kept to that. The only difference I'd say is when I'd have my protein only day, I'd allow myself to have some salad on the side or some tomatoes, or just like a really healthy, yummy snacks on the side. I wouldn't deprive myself of that. So I was adding in some other like raw vegetables and stuff like that, but I tried to make it protein heavy on that day. That was just my choice because I found it worked. One other thing that I did is one day a week I had a meal that I wanted, whatever I wanted, and I guess technically you could call that a celebration meal. So I would go out for dinner and I would have, well, I'd probably have more than one meal. I'd have a starter, a main, the dessert I wanted, and I just enjoyed myself. And it made it really special actually. And you know, it was kind of a bit of a treat and a celebration. Not that I didn't enjoy the food that I was having during the week, because I did, and I found them really yummy, and you yourself will become quite creative and versatile with the way that you use the ingredients and the list of foods that you're given. But it is nice to be able to go out and have a treat, especially, you know, on special occasions. Okay, so with alcohol, I still kept to drinking. I think after the cruise phase, or towards the end of the cruise phase, I was having like 2 small glasses of wine on a Saturday night and sometimes on a Sunday, or you know, a couple of drinks. I really consciously decided last year to really cut down on alcohol, and that decision was made before I started the Dukan Diet. It was just a personal choice, and I've very much kept to that. I drink a lot less than I used to. I think I was just really used to a university culture environment, particularly in the UK. There's a big drinking culture, which I think we're kind of universally known for, but also our universities, there's a big drinking culture. And I think when I left uni, that very much carried on through like my first 5-6 years of working in London. It's very much a part of the culture here. You know, the weekend starts on a Thursday night, everyone hits the pubs or a bar. It's very socially acceptable, but I think also I got into the habit of, you know, having a couple of glasses of wine during the week or more if I had had a stressful day, and it's not a good thing to rely on to relax you. And I think ultimately for me, I didn't find it was very good for, you know, I found it piled on the pounds, which is one thing. I didn't feel great, and I don't think it's particularly good for your mental health either. So I've just found that really cutting down booze has been one of the best decisions I ever made. And I was worried, and I can do a video on this if you'd like me to talk a bit more about cutting down alcohol in your life, but I was worried that, you know, I wouldn't be as much fun anymore, or I wouldn't have as much fun, and I realised that I'm more fun. I don't rely on it as like a social tool. When I meet new people or I go to a new place, I actually really like feeling focused and alert and on the ball, and I get a lot more out of socialising now than I used to. So one thing I had a question about, and the book actually covers it in quite a lot of detail, which is great, is what if my target weight isn't actually my long-term weight that's going to work for me? So my target weight was 110 pounds. After my wedding, I found it quite hard to maintain that, especially in the consolidation or the transitional phase. introducing new food groups. It worked if I sticked with just protein or protein and veg, but reality is I didn't want to be just eating that for the rest of my life. So I actually found that for me, 112 to 114 pounds was a really happy medium, and it was something that I could maintain comfortably. I could go out, I could have fun, I ate, you know, a lot of what I wanted to, and it didn't have to be too restrictive. So you've got to find what works for you, and that does take a bit of time, but it should be something where the effort is minimal but constant. But if you're having to like overly think all the time about what you're eating and it feels like a strain, it might be the case that the weight that you're trying to stay on is actually not gonna work for you long term. So for example, mine ended up being 2 to 4 pounds more than what my target weight had been. I loved what I looked like for my wedding day. It's the slimmest I've been in years, but I think it's very different when you're working towards a goal like that than afterwards. You know, we went on honeymoon, so I put on a few pounds after that. Then when I came back, I sort of looked at myself in the mirror and I thought, I really like the way I look. I hadn't weighed myself for 2 weeks, and but I knew what I'd look like, so I'd obviously sort of roughly stayed around that weight, and that's what I remained at really ever since. So to give you an idea, I maintained my kind of my comfortable weight, or the weight that works for me, which is 112 to 114 pounds from September last year until March this year, but then I got pregnant. So my weight's gone up a little bit since then, but only from natural weight gain of the baby and fluid and all that kind of stuff. Breasts, great fun. But if you'd like me to do a video about being on the Dukan diet and being pregnant, I'd be really happy to do that, because I think sometimes people worry about starting a family, that's going to affect you know, all this hard work that you've done with your weight. And I'm very conscious about the fact that I don't want to get to the point where, you know, I deliver and you know, touch wood, everything goes okay and we have the baby, and I've piled on like 3 stone. I'm just not going to do that to myself. It's not healthy for the baby. And actually, having spoken to my midwife, she said that it's only in the 3rd trimester that you should be eating 100 calories extra a day. Now that's the equivalent of a slice of bread or a banana. You know, the day is gone of the myth of that you're eating for 2, because you're not, and scientifically they know that that's incorrect. And it's not good for you to be carrying extra weight whilst you're pregnant. It's not good for your organs, it's not good for your body. So I've stayed really active. I still apply the same rules as I did before, but if I'm feeling a little bit hungry some days, and obviously I've had some cravings, then I will allow myself that. I'm not too worried that if after the pregnancy, I've you know, piled on a few more pounds than I was before I got pregnant, because I have the Dukan diet and I know I can get back to where I was before, and I've got no fear about that. And weirdly enough, obviously I'm very excited about the baby coming, but the other thing I'm really excited about is getting back to where I was again, and I know I can do it because I've done it before. So I think that's all my notes. Sorry, it's quite a long video, but there was quite a lot to cover and I wanted to be as thorough as possible. I hope you found this video interesting. Thank you so much for your support. I haven't got many videos on this channel, and I hadn't actually looked at the channel for, I don't know, a month, and I came back and one of the videos had 10,000 views on. I don't know where that came from. I've also got over 100 subscribers now, which doesn't sound like a lot, I know, to some of you who, like me, watch channels with, you know, thousands of subscribers, but for a little channel and someone who doesn't do loads of videos, this is really thrilling, and I'm just so happy I've been able to help some of you and advise you. Thank you for all your comments, thanks for all your positive remarks. I'm here with you throughout this journey, and as I've said before, I'm not a dietitian. I'm not paid or sponsored by Dr. Pierre Dukan. I've lived it, I've experienced it, I've been through this, and I'm telling you it works. And I just give it a go, you know, and go out, get the book. I got mine on Amazon for like a couple of pounds. It was secondhand. It's a bit grubby now, I've been using it. And start today. Change your life, because it really does work, and it's amazing, and it's really easy to maintain. Some of you have asked for more videos on like what I eat in a day and recipes. I promise I'm going to do those. I'm just writing up lists. With the baby, in a few months' time I'm going to have a bit more time on my hands, so I'm planning on doing a lot more videos for you then. But if you want one about pregnancy and the Dukan diet, if you want one on or any specific subjects, it might not even be about the actual food and what you eat, but kind of how to stay on track mentally, and what my experiences were, then please let me know. Please share your stories, please like and subscribe, and I will see you again soon.